Hello and welcome to a rather low-key start to Vlogmas 2019. I tried a little bit of Vlogmas last year, but it was mainly after Christmas and there weren't very many episodes. So this year I'm trying again. Let's see how this goes. I'm planning on having a vlog maybe every second day. I think that might be achievable. I'm going to talk about one thing per episode. And for today, the thing I'm talking about is this jumper, or beginnings of a jumper. It's obviously a yoked jumper, and the thing that I'm finding interesting about it is I'm knitting with Icelandic wool. I think you've probably heard of Letlopi. That's what I'm using. I've been thinking, I've knit for a long time. And I've been thinking about my stash as it's changed, and I think the change I'm seeing at the moment is I'm considering buying things, or more considering buying things, if they're a different texture. Initially, when I wanted to knit things, I wanted to knit what I could see overseas, and so I wanted to knit in the weights that were more commonly used overseas, which was worsted weight. Here, almost everything's DK, which I would normally say in Australian terminology as overseas you use 10 ply and here most stuff is 8 ply. Any rate, now what I see myself doing is actually wanting to know how things feel and what the texture is. That's why I decided to treat myself to some Icelandic wool. And you might be wondering, how am I going to use this in Australia? I'm hoping, it's currently a drought, but I'm hoping that there will be a bunch of rain in winter. And yes, I have a jacket. I don't have a coat. It's not needed here. But I still get wet and a bit fed up with getting wet for a week or two. And I'm hoping that the properties of this wool will mean that I stay warm and in some way dry, even if the jumper gets wet. That I'll be interested to see, and I hope it does rain for me to see it. If you were to ask me what the texture is, obviously it's a little bit hairy. Yes, you've guessed it, it's rustic wool. Yes, fine. What the texture reminds me of was growing up before the Gulf Wars. There was, I can't remember whether it's one or more, shops in Sydney that sold things from Afghanistan, probably Pakistan, India a bit Iran, a bit from Egypt. And any rate, this texture reminds me of things I felt in those sorts of shops. I don't think they were knit that I saw in those shops, and I don't think they were garments. I think they were more likely cushions, or possibly like bags or something like that. But at any rate, I don't know if this reference helps you at all, but that's what it feels like to me. You're probably going to ask, is it scratchy? After a while, I think it does feel a bit scratchy on my neck, or if I'm only wearing one layer, I think I feel a little bit to scratch through, but that's fine because in winter I usually wear two t-shirts and it works. I don't actually find it scratchy here. Don't know why. And I guess everyone's sensitive in a different way, and I can't really tell you what you're going to feel. But at any rate, I think it's very interesting being able to knit with wool from another country and to understand what that texture is. The pattern I'm using is Dreamja, I think, Dream in Icelandic anyhow, by Jennifer Steingass. I've largely kept to the pattern, but I did alter it because if you see this and that colour, there's just one stitch there that's different. It really blends in very neatly. But the bottom section here does not blend in very neatly. So what I ended up doing was along here, I did every second one in the light blue for 2 rows before I switched in to all the light blue. And I think from a distance it fades together. So you might want a better description of Icelandic wool. It is relatively easy to break. And the thing that I found interesting, and I hadn't realized when I was looking at online pictures, is it's actually 2 ply. There. The pattern is a lot of fun, and I really appreciated the increases. It's got an unusual increase that I really like the effect, and yes, I do think it's very subtle and it works well with colour work. I think it's a well written pattern. The thing I noticed about it actually is I'm coming to the end of the colour work, and actually I'm starting to look forward to something different. So I think there's just enough colour work, and then there's some plain stockinette, and then I think towards the end there's a bit more colour work, and I think it's great for hand knitting where you don't want to get bored. Here's the inside of my work, because everyone likes to see the floats and check out how other people do it. I hope you enjoyed that little vlog about my Icelandic jumper, and which now probably has, a little bit of grass on it. Anyhow, I'll see you in a day or two's time. I hope you're enjoying all of December. Bye!